From the dazzling lights of reality television to the cold silence of a hospital ward, life can change in an instant. Emma Johnston, beloved daughter of Amber and Trent Johnston from TLC's hit series 7 Little Johnstons, has always been a symbol of courage, laughter, and resilience. Fans admired her radiant smile, her determination to overcome challenges, and her ability to inspire millions with authenticity. But last night, Emma's world and ours was shaken to its core. After finishing rehearsal for an upcoming award ceremony, she drove home through heavy fog. Exhausted and navigating dangerous conditions, her car lost control at an intersection and slammed into a roadside lamppost. The wreckage was mangled beyond recognition, and Emma was rushed to the hospital. Though she survived the crash, her condition suddenly worsened. In a shocking turn, Emma suffered a massive heart attack, leaving her on life support in the ICU. The Johnston family, once a beacon of strength on television, now faces their darkest hour. Tonight, on UK Flix, we take you inside Emma Johnston's harrowing ordeal. A story of survival, family, and the fragile line between fame and fate. This is not just news. This is a fight for life. Emma Johnston was never just another face on television. As the daughter of Amber and Trent Johnston, stars of TLC's 7 Little Johnstons, she grew up in front of millions of viewers who admired the family's openness, humor, and resilience. Emma, with her radiant smile and sharp wit, quickly became a fan favorite. Her journey was not without challenges, living with dwarfism and constant battles against stereotypes and physical limitations, but Emma transformed those struggles into strength. Her presence on the show was magnetic. Whether she was sharing heartfelt conversations with her siblings or showcasing her talents in school and social events, Emma embodied authenticity. Fans adored her for being unapologetically herself. She was not just a reality star. She was a role model for young viewers who saw in her a reflection of courage and determination. Beyond the cameras, Emma pursued her passions with vigor. She loved music, dance, and the thrill of performing. Recently, she had been preparing for an upcoming award ceremony where she was scheduled to present alongside other rising stars. Friends described her as unstoppable, someone who never let exhaustion or obstacles dim her light. But fame is a double-edged sword. While Emma enjoyed the love of millions, the pressure to constantly perform weighed heavily. Long rehearsals, tight schedules, and the emotional demands of being in the public eye often left her drained. Yet she carried on with grace, determined to prove that she was more than just a television personality. She was a fighter, a dreamer, and a beacon of hope. No one could have predicted that the very night she left rehearsal, her life would take a devastating turn. The glittering world of Emma Johnston was about to collide with tragedy, and the family America had come to love would be thrust into a nightmare they never imagined. It was just past midnight when Emma Johnston left the rehearsal hall, her mind still buzzing with the rhythm of the evening's performance. The fog outside was thick, swallowing the glow of streetlights and turning the familiar roads into a maze of shadows. Emma, exhausted but determined to make it home, slid behind the wheel of her car. For her, driving was often a moment of solitude, a chance to breathe after the chaos of cameras and rehearsals. But on this night, solitude would turn into silence. Witnesses later recalled seeing her car approach the intersection at a speed that seemed too fast for the conditions. The fog clung to the asphalt, blurring the lines of the road. Emma's headlights cut through the mist, but visibility was poor. In that split second, fate intervened. Her tires lost grip, the steering wheel jerked, and the car veered off course. The sound of screeching metal echoed through the night as her vehicle slammed violently into a roadside lamppost. The impact was devastating. The car crumpled upon collision, its frame mangled beyond recognition. Shards of glass scattered across the pavement, and the lamppost bent under the force of the crash. For a moment, the world seemed to freeze. Then came the rush. Neighbors startled awake, drivers pulling over, frantic calls to emergency services. Emma, though injured, remained conscious. Her breaths were shallow, her body trembling from shock. The silence of the foggy night was broken by the wail of sirens as rescue workers raced to the scene. Flashing lights illuminated the wreckage, painting a grim picture of what had just unfolded. For fans who adored her, Emma Johnston was the embodiment of resilience. But in that moment, she was a young woman fighting against the odds, trapped in a nightmare no one could have foreseen. The glittering star of 7 little Johnstons had been thrust into a battle between life and death. And the night of the accident would mark the beginning of a harrowing journey that shook her family and the world to its core. The crash site was a scene of chaos and disbelief. The twisted wreckage of Emma Johnston's car lay beneath the bent lamppost, its headlights flickering weakly against the thick fog. For a moment, the world seemed frozen, until the shrill sound of sirens pierced the night. Emergency responders, alerted by frantic calls from witnesses, raced toward the intersection. Rescue workers arrived within minutes, their flashing lights cutting through the mist. The sight that greeted them was grim. Emma's car was mangled almost beyond recognition, its doors jammed shut, the windshield shattered into 1,000 shards. Inside, Emma was conscious but fading, her breath shallow, her body trembling from shock and pain. Her eyes darted weakly toward the rescuers, a silent plea for help. The team wasted no time. With precision and urgency, they deployed hydraulic cutters and spreaders, the jaws of life, to pry open the crumpled frame. Metal groaned and snapped as the rescuers fought against the wreckage. Every second mattered. Emma's condition was fragile, and the fog made visibility difficult, but the team pressed on with determination. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they managed to free her from the twisted cage of steel. Carefully, they placed her onto a stretcher, stabilizing her neck and limbs to prevent further injury. The paramedics worked swiftly, checking her vitals, administering oxygen, and preparing her for transport. Emma's face was pale, her body trembling, but she remained conscious, a testament to her resilience, even in the face of unimaginable trauma. The ambulance door slammed shut, and the vehicle sped away, sirens wailing into the night. Behind them, the crash site remained a haunting reminder of how quickly life can change. Neighbors whispered prayers, witnesses stood in shock, and the fog swallowed the scene once more. For Emma Johnston, the rescue was only the beginning. Though she had survived the crash, the true battle awaited her at the hospital. The world's beloved star was now in the hands of doctors, and her fight for survival had only just begun. The ambulance tore through the foggy streets, its sirens wailing like a desperate cry in the night. Inside, Emma Johnston lay strapped to the stretcher, her body trembling from shock and pain. Paramedics worked frantically, monitoring her vitals, administering oxygen, and trying to stabilize her fragile condition. Every second felt like a countdown, every heartbeat a question mark hanging in the air. The hospital had already been alerted. Doctors and nurses prepared the emergency department, knowing they were about to receive a high-profile patient whose life hung in the balance. For Emma, the journey was agonizing. Though she remained conscious, her breaths were shallow, her eyes fluttering between awareness and exhaustion. The paramedics whispered encouragement, urging her to hold on, to fight through the pain. When the ambulance finally screeched to a halt outside the hospital, a team of medical staff rushed forward. The door swung open, and Emma was wheeled inside under the harsh glow of fluorescent lights. The sterile corridors echoed with urgency as doctors barked instructions, nurses scrambled with equipment, and the stretcher rolled toward the trauma bay. Her injuries were extensive. Fractures, deep bruises, and internal trauma, yet what worried the doctors most was her fragile state of shock. The accident had not only battered her body, but also placed immense strain on her heart. As they worked to stabilize her, Emma's resilience shone through. She winced, she trembled, but she did not let go. Outside the hospital, word of the accident began to spread. Fans who adored Emma Johnston flooded social media with prayers and messages of support. The Johnston family, alerted in the dead of night, rushed to the hospital, their faces etched with fear and disbelief. Amber and Trent Johnston, who had always been pillars of strength on 7 little Johnstons, now found themselves helpless, watching their daughter fight for her life. The hospital rush was more than a medical emergency. It was a race against time. Emma's survival depended on swift action, precise care, and her own unyielding willpower. The glittering star who had once lit up television screens was now battling in silence, surrounded by machines, doctors, and the desperate hope of millions. Inside the hospital's trauma bay, the atmosphere was tense but controlled. Doctors and nurses moved with precision, stabilizing Emma Johnston after the devastating crash. For a brief moment, it seemed as though she might pull through. Her vitals were fragile but steady, her consciousness flickering yet present. Family members clung to hope, whispering prayers as they waited outside the ICU doors. But fate had another cruel twist in store. As Emma lay under medical care, her condition suddenly deteriorated. Monitors began to beep erratically, alarms filled the room, and her body convulsed in unbearable pain. Doctors rushed to her side, realizing the unthinkable. Emma was suffering a massive heart attack. The crash had already inflicted severe trauma, but the psychological shock combined with the physical strain proved too much for her heart to bear. Her breaths grew shallow, her pulse weakened, and her face turned pale as the medical team fought desperately to revive her. Chest compressions, defibrillators, and urgent medication became the rhythm of the room, each second a battle against time. Outside, Amber and Trent Johnston were informed of the sudden crisis. The parents who had always been portrayed as pillars of strength on Seven Little Johnstons now found themselves shattered, watching helplessly as their daughter's life slipped further into danger. Tears streamed down Amber's face, while Trent stood frozen, his hands clenched in silent agony. News of Emma's heart attack spread quickly beyond the hospital walls. Fans across the globe, already shaken by the accident, now faced the horrifying reality that their beloved star was fighting for her very life. Social media erupted with messages of support, hashtags calling for prayers, and heartfelt tributes to Emma's courage. Inside the ICU, the doctors refused to give up. Emma was placed on life support, machines breathing for her, keeping her heart alive while her body struggled to recover. The once vibrant young woman who had lit up television screens was now caught in a silent war between life and death. The heart attack was more than a medical emergency. It was a moment that shook everyone who knew Emma, loved her, or had ever been touched by her story. The world held its breath, waiting to see if she could survive the storm. As Emma Johnston lay in the ICU, her fragile body connected to machines that kept her alive, the weight of the ordeal fell hardest on her parents, Amber and Trent Johnston. Known to millions as the resilient heads of the Seven Little Johnstons household, they had always been portrayed as strong, steady, and unshakable. But in the sterile corridors of the hospital, their strength crumbled under the unbearable reality of watching their daughter fight for her life. Amber, usually the voice of calm and reason on the show, was inconsolable. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched Trent's hand, her body trembling with fear. She whispered Emma's name over and over, as if repeating it could somehow anchor her daughter to life. Trent, often the stoic protector of the family, stood silent, his jaw clenched, his eyes red with grief. He had always been the one to fix problems, to shield his children from pain. But here, he was powerless. The Johnston siblings gathered nearby, their faces etched with worry. The family that had always shared laughter, pranks, and heartfelt conversations on screen now found themselves united in sorrow. Each sibling carried their own burden of fear, knowing that Emma's vibrant presence, the sister who brought joy and energy into their lives, was slipping away. The hospital waiting room became a place of silent prayers and whispered hopes. Amber and Trent leaned on each other, their bond tested in ways they had never imagined. For years, they had shown the world how to navigate life's challenges with humor and resilience. But this was different. This was not a scripted moment for television. This was raw, unfiltered agony. Outside the hospital, fans flooded social media with messages of support. Thousands of posts poured in, offering prayers and strength to the Johnston family. Yet inside those walls, Amber and Trent felt the crushing isolation of parents facing the possible loss of a child. Fame offered no comfort here. Cameras could not capture the depth of their pain. For Amber and Trent, the ordeal was more than a medical crisis. It was a test of faith, love, and endurance. Their tears told the story of parents who would give anything to trade places with their daughter, to shield her from suffering. But all they could do was wait, hope, and pray that Emma Johnston's fight for life would not end in tragedy. As Emma Johnston's condition grew more critical, the news of her accident and sudden heart attack spread like wildfire. Within hours, social media platforms lit up with an outpouring of emotion. Fans from across the globe, viewers who had followed her journey on Seven Little Johnstons for years, came together in a wave of support. Hashtags like #PrayForEmma and #StayStrongEmma began trending, turning her fight for survival into a collective vigil shared by millions. For many, Emma was more than just a reality TV star. She was a symbol of resilience, someone who had faced life's challenges with courage and humor. Fans recalled her laughter, her determination, and the way she inspired others to embrace their uniqueness. Now, those same fans found themselves united in grief and hope, sending prayers, messages, and heartfelt tributes into the digital ether. The Johnston family, overwhelmed by the crisis, found solace in the tidal wave of support. Amber and Trent, though consumed by fear, were comforted by the knowledge that their daughter's story had touched so many lives. Messages poured in from strangers and celebrities alike, each one a reminder that Emma's fight was not hers alone. It was shared by a global community holding its breath. Outside the hospital, small groups of supporters gathered, candles flickering in the night as they whispered prayers. Across continents, fans organized online vigils, posting videos, artwork, and songs dedicated to Emma. The world seemed to pause, united in a single hope that she would survive. The atmosphere was heavy with uncertainty, yet also filled with an undeniable sense of solidarity. Emma's ordeal had transcended the boundaries of television, becoming a human story of survival and love. Fans who had never met her felt as though they were part of her family, standing shoulder to shoulder with Amber, Trent, and the Johnston siblings in their darkest hour. In those moments, Emma Johnston was not just a star. She was a beacon of humanity, reminding the world of the fragile line between life and loss. And as the hours ticked by, the collective heartbeat of millions seemed to echo one desperate plea. Emma, please, hold on. Inside the ICU, the atmosphere was tense, every heartbeat on the monitor echoing like a drum of uncertainty. Emma Johnston's condition had reached a critical stage. The accident had left her body battered, and the sudden heart attack had pushed her into a fragile state where every second mattered. For the first time since her arrival, the doctor stepped forward to address the family and the world waiting outside. The lead physician explained that Emma's injuries were extensive: fractures, internal bleeding, and severe trauma to her chest. But the most alarming factor was her heart. The shock of the crash, combined with exhaustion and stress, had triggered a massive cardiac event. She is on life support, the doctor said gravely, and her survival depends on how her body responds in the next 24 hours. Amber and Trent Johnston listened in silence, their faces etched with fear. The words felt like daggers, clinical, precise, yet devastating. The doctors reassured them that Emma was receiving the best possible care: advanced cardiac support, constant monitoring, and a team of specialists working around the clock. Still, the uncertainty was unbearable. Outside the hospital, reporters gathered, eager for updates. Fans clung to every word released by the medical team. The statement was clear: Emma was fighting for her life, and the outcome was far from certain. Social media erupted once again, with fans pleading for miracles, sharing stories of how Emma had inspired them, and urging others to keep her in their prayers. The doctors, though professional, could not hide the gravity of the situation. They described Emma's fight as a battle against time and trauma. Machines hummed, monitors beeped, and the ICU became a battlefield where science and fate collided. For the Johnston family, the doctor's words were both a lifeline and a burden. Hope remained, but it was fragile, balanced on the edge of despair. Emma Johnston, the vibrant star who had once lit up television screens, was now reduced to a silent struggle, her fate resting in the hands of medicine and the strength of her own spirit. The ICU was cloaked in a heavy silence, broken only by the rhythmic hum of machines and the steady beeping of monitors. Emma Johnston lay motionless, her body connected to tubes and wires that kept her alive. The vibrant young woman who once lit up television screens with her laughter and energy was now engaged in the most profound battle of her life, a battle fought in silence. Doctors and nurses moved quietly around her, adjusting equipment, checking vitals, and recording every fluctuation. Each breath she took was assisted by machines. each heartbeat monitored with precision. Though unconscious, Emma's fight was visible in the fragile rise and fall of her chest, in the faint pulse that flickered across the monitor. Her body was battered, but her spirit seemed unwilling to surrender. Amber and Trent Johnston remained close, their eyes fixed on their daughter through the glass window of the ICU. Hours felt like days as they watched Emma's fragile form, whispering prayers and clinging to hope. Her siblings, equally devastated, took turns sitting by her side, holding her hand and speaking softly to her, as if their voices could reach her through the haze of unconsciousness. Outside the hospital, the vigil continued. Fans across the globe stayed awake through the night, posting messages of encouragement, lighting candles, and sharing memories of Emma's brightest moments. The world seemed to pause, united in anticipation, waiting for any sign of improvement. Inside the ICU, time moved differently. Every hour was a test, every minute a question. Would Emma's body respond to treatment? Could her heart regain strength? The doctors remained cautious, reminding the family that recovery was uncertain, that the next few days would determine everything. Emma's silent fight was more than a medical struggle. It was a testament to her resilience. Even in unconsciousness, she embodied the courage that had defined her life. The girl who had inspired millions was now inspiring them once more, not through words or laughter, but through the sheer will to survive. The ICU became a battlefield of hope and despair, where Emma Johnston's fate hung in the balance. And as the hours passed, one truth became clear: the world was not ready to let her go. The hours stretched into days, and the Johnston family remained in the hospital, their lives suspended in a haze of fear and fragile hope. Emma Johnston's condition was critical, her body sustained by machines, her spirit locked in a silent struggle. Doctors continued their tireless efforts, but the truth was clear: Emma's future was uncertain. Amber and Trent Johnston, who had always shown resilience on 7 Little Johnstons, now faced the most painful reality of parenthood: the possibility of losing a child. Their tears, their whispered prayers, and their unwavering presence by Emma's side spoke volumes about the depth of their love. The siblings, too, carried the weight of grief, their laughter replaced by silence, their hearts heavy with worry. Outside the hospital, the world continued to hold its breath. Fans across continents lit candles, shared stories, and sent prayers, creating a global chorus of hope. Emma's ordeal had become more than a family tragedy. It was a collective moment of humanity, where millions united in compassion and faith. Doctors remained cautious in their updates. They explained that Emma's body was fragile, her heart weakened, and her recovery uncertain. Yet, they also acknowledged her resilience, the same resilience that had defined her life on screen. "She is fighting," one physician said softly, "and sometimes that fight makes all the difference." The Johnston family clung to those words, refusing to let despair consume them. For Amber and Trent, hope was not just a feeling, it was a necessity. They believed in their daughter's strength, in her ability to overcome the odds, just as she had done countless times before. As the world watched, Emma Johnston's story became a reminder of life's fragility and the power of love. Whether tomorrow would bring recovery or farewell remained unknown. But one truth was undeniable: Emma's fight had already touched millions, leaving an indelible mark on hearts across the globe. The glittering star of 7 Little Johnstons now stood at the crossroads of fate, her future unwritten, her tomorrow uncertain. And the world waited, united in hope, for the dawn that would reveal what lay ahead. Emma Johnston's story is not just about tragedy, it is about resilience, family, and the fragile line between life and loss. As she fights in the ICU, millions of hearts beat alongside hers. But the question remains: will Emma's strength carry her through this storm? Will the Johnston family find light after such darkness? And how will this ordeal change the way we see the stars we admire? What do you believe lies ahead for Emma Johnston? Is this the beginning of her greatest comeback? Or the moment that reminds us all of life's unpredictability? Share your thoughts, your prayers, and your hopes in the comments below. Because in the end, this story is not just hers. It belongs to all of us who wait, watch, and wonder. More update. 7 Little Johnstons Emma Johnston mourns devastating loss gone too soon. Fans blast Emma Johnston over weird date. And fans drag Emma for latest petty move. Emma Johnston answers engagement rumor. I will explain everything. Recently, Emma Johnston, known from 7 Little Johnstons, shared a heartfelt message on social media. The TLC star was grieving the passing of someone close. Fans have been responding to Emma's post with their own reactions. Emma and her family gained recognition through the TLC reality show, *7 Little Johnstons. Premiering in 2015, the series focuses on the Johnston family of 7, all of whom live with dwarfism. Beyond the show, fans have kept up with the Johnston family online. Recently, Emma posted an emotional message to her followers, addressing the loss of a loved one. Emma took to social media to express her sorrow over the past year's loss. She wrote, "1 year ago, the world, not just myself, was graced by that radiant smile. Though you're gone, you're not forgotten. You'll always be with us." In her post, Emma included a video featuring herself and her friend, reality show producer Tegan Zeffel. The two were seen beaming as they filmed a video with a deer. Zeffel had been involved with 7 Little Johnstons, beginning in 2021. She also contributed to several shorts, including Behind the Scenes, Spare Parts, and Ghostlight as a production designer. Her obituary stated that Tegan passed away unexpectedly on Monday, December 9th, 2024, in Georgia. She was 24 years old when she died. Tegan, a 2021 Savannah College of Art and Design alumna, hailed from Aurora, Illinois. She was also a member of the Producers Guild of America. Her obituary highlighted her passion for creativity, which guided her toward a career in television. It went on to say, "Family meant everything to Tegan. She cherished every moment spent with them, whether gathered together playing games and laughing or traveling both to new locations or family favorite spots. Time with family filled her heart with joy." Following Emma's recent post, many fans continued to express their condolences and celebrate Tegan's life. Some offered prayers and shared their own experiences with loss. Comments included, "I'm so sorry for the loss of your friend. I remember when I heard the news about Tegan. It was just devastating. It's incredibly difficult to cope with the loss of someone so young and kind. I pray that Jesus helps everyone who loved her through this painful time. My heart goes out to her family and friends. My condolences and prayers go out to the Zeffel family. Emma, I'm so sorry. She was a beautiful young woman and a wonderful friend." Fans blast Emma Johnston over weird date. 7 Little Johnstons hasn't aired since season 14 concluded, but a trailer for season 15 is already making the rounds. Fans, it seems, are buzzing about it, specifically calling out Emma Johnston and her prom date, along with a burgeoning trend among the siblings. So, what's the word from the viewers? One of the season 15 spoilers for 7 Little Johnstons reveals Emma Johnston and Alex Johnston heading to their senior prom. Regarding Emma, she's been open about the fact that she isn't currently dating anyone. Despite the show's teasers, which hint at her going to the prom with her friend, the details are still emerging. With just the trailer released for season 15 of 7 Little Johnstons, there's plenty of time for fans to speculate. One thing that caught viewers' attention is how Emma, much like Alex and Jonah, seems to have found another little person to accompany her to events like prom, even though she previously stated they weren't dating. Many 7 Little Johnstons fans are questioning TLC's authenticity, suggesting the network is staging these relationships for the sake of the show. Some TLC fans believe these relationships are contrived for the cameras. Emma, for her part, made it clear that her prom date was simply a friend, not a boyfriend. Many viewers, however, are skeptical about the authenticity of the relationships shown between Alex and Allie, and also Jonah and Ashley. TLC, as many longtime viewers know, often exaggerates certain aspects to create the most dramatic storylines. This is how many viewers see the relationships of the 7 Little Johnstons children on the show, and this has led to a lot of discussion. One viewer wrote, "At first, Jonah's relationship with his girlfriend made sense, given the LPC connection. But then, Alex and Allie, I think that's her name, both having their first girlfriends and true loves seemed a bit staged, though I tried to ignore it." Now, the trailer shows Emma with a boy going to the same prom, but it doesn't mention them meeting at LPC. It feels really staged. The show seems to have brought in another little person, presumably to stir up a romance. It feels a bit like Amber's handiwork, given her influence over Emma. I'm certain she'd be thrilled to see her children paired off in picture-perfect LP relationships. Another chimed in, Trent and Amber clearly want their kids to date little people. Amber's hoping they'll all find love at some conference, just like she and Trent did. Fans drag Emma for latest petty move. Emma Johnston has been under fire from *7 Little Johnston's fans, who accuse her of harboring bitterness. And throwing shade ever since, whispers of a family rift between Anna Johnston and the rest of the clan began circulating. Following Emma's most recent updates, viewers didn't hold back, criticizing her for yet another display of what they deemed bitter shade. So, what did she say this time? One thing 7 Little Johnston's fans have picked up on, especially since the family feud became apparent, is Emma Johnston's apparent animosity towards her older sister, Anna. Though Liz Johnston and others have also taken jabs at Anna Johnston since the drama began, Emma has arguably been the most vocal in her criticisms of Anna. Emma frequently collaborates with Ashley, Jonah Johnston's girlfriend, on activities and TikTok videos. Emma often calls Ashley her other sister. Though Emma has claimed no ill intent, fans of 7 Little Johnstons have interpreted it as a dig at Anna. Adding to the online tension Emma Johnston has stirred up in recent months, she recently threw more shade. It was Liz Johnston's birthday, and Emma's message to Liz on her special day contained some not-so-subtle undertones. Emma's birthday message to Liz on social media was meant to be sweet, but it's the subtle jab that everyone's talking about. After wishing her sister an incredible day filled with joy, Emma added, "Glad to be her favorite aunt as well," a reference that didn't go unnoticed. This recent post from Emma on 7 Little Johnstons has drawn criticism from fans, who feel she's still harboring a grudge, effectively stoking the flames of the family feud. Viewers have also taken issue with Emma's tendency to take digs at what seems to be her sister Anna. "Bitterness runs in the family," one person observed. Another added, "Favorite aunt because she lived in the same house only." A third voice joined the fray, declaring, "Emma is disgusting. I know she's been doing this for years, but it's gotten much worse, more vicious and personal. She's so tasteless." Emma Johnston answers engagement rumor. Emma Johnston, a star of *7 Little Johnston's recently weighed in on the buzz surrounding a potential engagement between Jonah Johnston and his girlfriend Ashley. What did she have to share? Fans of the show have observed that Emma and Ashley have been spending a lot of time together lately. Ashley joined the family on their trip to Puerto Rico, and the two seem to have developed a close friendship. The ongoing rift within the Johnston family, particularly involving Anna Johnston, has led to speculation among fans. Some have even suggested that Emma is trying to fill Anna's role by becoming closer to Ashley, given their previous shared activities, such as attending concerts. Recently, Emma Johnston posted a picture with Ashley that sparked rumors of a potential engagement announcement from Jonah Johnston. Emma's photo included Ashley and Leighton Bolden, but it was her accompanying caption that really got TLC viewers buzzing. In the caption accompanying the photo, Emma Johnston, a cast member of 7 Little Johnstons, wrote, "Look who's back, my other sister." Given the amount of time Ashley and Emma have been spending together, coupled with Ashley's presence on the family trip to Puerto Rico, speculation ran rampant. Many viewers suspected Jonah Johnston had already popped the question, and that the family was keeping it under wraps, perhaps for a future TLC storyline. Considering the length of Jonah Johnston and his girlfriend's relationship, it wouldn't be a shock if they decided to get engaged. Especially with Ashley joining the family on the Puerto Rico trip, an engagement seemed like a reasonable next step. Recently, Emma Johnston addressed the engagement rumors that had circulated following a photo she posted and the accompanying caption. Emma posted a photo collage featuring herself, some of her siblings, and Ashley. In the image, Ashley's face was blurred out, but the accompanying text revealed Emma's feelings. "She's not engaged, she's like a sister to me." This suggests that, at least for the time being, an engagement isn't in the cards. However, it's clear Ashley has already become a significant part of the family. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments, and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.